Hi everybody, Jason again, SolidEdge Fundamentals course. Working our way through. We're about to create a new solid model from scratch. Again, we're working in metric. You can choose one of these templates, or if you click on the new, you'll get the full template selector dialog. We will be working in synchronous mode here. I may, from time to time, I'm going to show you both the ordered and synchronous, just to mix things up a little bit. So in this activity, they're going to have you make what is the beginning of a vise base and kind of show you a little bit about extruding. It's really fun, actually. Now, sometimes I'll just draw loosely. I'm going to lock to this front plane. Let me look at the numbers here. So we have 85 and 185 and 70. Okay. So let's start drawing, starting from here. And we'll give this 185. And because it's 0, I'm just going to hit enter again. And then this is 85. And I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to brush over this element, make sure I get to the end point. And I think we had a little fillet. I don't know what that value is. I'm just going to eyeball that and put a fillet here. Say 40. And so now that we have a sketch in synchronous mode, I showed you a little of this before. I'm going to tap escape key once. It brings my select tool active, and if I click any region, it will give me the extrude handle. Maybe if I just drop down another little sketch here, just to be interesting, you'll see that that gives me a region, that gives me a region. If I click this and then tap the space bar, I can pick both regions, or I can actually just fence and select and get all the regions. It all pretty much works the same. When you do click a region, you essentially are kicked into the extrude command. Now and then you can just simply click the arrow and extrude. You really want to observe all the buttons on this command bar, or sometimes they call it quick bar in the documentation. Really, that will pay off. You can add taper, you can do a symmetric extent, you have various other extents here. So all right there on the command bar, and some of these will have a shortcut. Notice it says tap the shift key on the keyboard. This is a really nice productivity tip. Just tapping shift allows you to go from non-symmetric to symmetric very quickly. So that's one easy way to make an extrude. So I'll undo that. I think I lost my dimension because I trimmed it with a fillet, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on the other side. So that, I think, looks pretty good. Now, another workflow is to go to the extrude command. Now, notice the absence of cut. There's just simply extrude. And then when you select a face, it may ask you to right-click afterwards. Again, if you're ever stuck wondering what the software wants you to do, you want to look down here in the prompt bar, and it's most likely going to tell you just exactly what it expects you to do. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and click, what was the distance supposed to be? I'm just going to give it an 80. So notice what we have. We have dimensions now. These have actually been migrated from the sketch to the model. These dimensions are now hung right off the model, so that when I make a change, the model changes directly. Now, the reason it's behaving so nicely is due to my design intent, and we will talk about that in a little bit more detail. But that is basically what happens to your sketch dimensions. They are migrated from the sketch to the edges of the 3D model, and you make your edits there. Now, if we continue on this, I'll do another little cutout on this face, for example. If this was going to be a little drill press vise, I'll do my Control H to get square. I guess it's kind of a funny vise with a hole in it. But I made a region here, and then when I select it with my select tool, you'll see there's kind of an automatic mode in the software where it can automatically decide if it should add or remove material where it makes sense. Now, at some point you're going to get a complicated scenario where you might have to tell it. It's really the basics of it. If it's not visually showing you the results that you want, just look up here in your command bar and you tell it to add or remove material. But if it looks like it's doing the right thing and you see a preview of what you actually want, the answer is usually just click the mouse and it will do it. Because it's a history-free modeling mode, you don't have to worry too much about the through all and through next extent methods. You can just go ahead and extrude that to where it looks good, and then later you can come in and put some dimensions on it to fully control it. And we will continue and talk about that a little bit more as we go. So that's your next activity, and go ahead and do that and we'll proceed.